G'day everybody, welcome to the fifth part of our text-based game video, and we are going to start finishing off this level editor, and then we're going to move into the game for the next video. So, the main emphasis this video is going to be getting this edit room function to work. However, this guy is going to be pretty hefty because we need to do a couple of things. Not only do we need to edit the room, but then we need to edit the room details, the blocked walls, the items, and the enemies of each individual room. So this is going to take a little while. So let's get cracking. We're first of all going to come down to the LSIF selection here, and we're going to jam in here, edit room. Okay, I know I'm going to get an error. We've done this the entire time, so I'm going to jump to the top of my module, and I'm going to create it right here, sub edit room, and that way we can get rid of the error, and we can start coding our bad boy. Let's create dim. Now, what have I named with the other ones? It's been a while since I've done this, I'm sorry. I'm just going to double check. Let's call it room editing as boolean equals true, and then we'll set up our while loop. While room editing, let's do the menu. So draw the menu and selection. So console.clear, console.writeLine, and let's go editing room, and let's put on a little bit of a message. So because they want to know where they are. Let's go level player position to string. So it's going to say editing room and then the coordinates of what their room is. And I'm going to go select from the following. I hope that's what I say in the other ones. As I said, it's been a while. I'm going to put an empty right line above it because I like it. And now our options for editing our rooms. Let's do a double tab. First one is going to be the room details with an R. So edit room details. The second one is going to be, copy and paste, the walls. So B for blocked walls. And then we go on to items and enemies. So I, E, and then escape for exit. And this is going to be room items and the room enemies. Okay, let's get our good olds right in there for their selection. Dim their selection as a console key equals console.readKey dot key. What did they select? Well, if they selected the R key, then they want to edit the room details. Alright, so that's the next sub we're going to set up. Let's quickly put in an else if the selection equals B. Let me not misspell it. Then we're going to be editing edit blocked walls. Else if the selection is, what's the next one? I. Then edit room items. Else if selection equals E, then edit the room enemies. Last one, else if selection equals escape, then room editing equals false. Alright, now pause the video, get this code down nice and quick because I'm going to jump back to the menu. I forgot to save the level after we edit it. So I'm going to quickly go back to the edit level. Alright, after we edit room, save the level. Don't forget, please. Otherwise, they're going to make heaps of changes and your code is not going to save it. Alright, apologies for that. I probably should have done it beforehand. So we've got a lot of functions to fill in here. The edit rooms, edit block walls, edit rooms, items, and the enemies. It doesn't sound too bad for this point, but you've got to think about it in this terms. These two subs are going to be just on their own, but this guy, we're going to have to be able to add, edit, and remove items, and the same thing with the enemies. Add, edit, and remove. So let's get into editing the room details. Sub, edit room details. Alright, and all of my stuff is just going to go in here. So, let's start. This is just going to be a one-time thing. It's going to pop up, it's going to enter in their name and the description. And the same thing with what we did before with the items and the enemies. If they type in nothing, we're going to keep the old value. If they type in something, we replace the old value. So clear the screen and start. So console.clear. Wow, can't spell. Now, let's tell them what they're doing. Let's tell them that they're going to be editing a certain room and their location. So editing room details, and then we'll put the location, so it's the level, player position, dot to string. I mean, it's the same thing I wrote before. Then a blank spot. Then what they're going to be doing. So first of all, what we should do is display what the details of the room currently are. So I'm going to put in just a separator, like so. And then I'm going to replace him with the level dot current room dot print, and that's going to put all the details of the screen. So it's going to be putting the name and the description so they can read it. All right, under that, let's do console.write new name, and then we go dim new name as a string equals read line. Then we go oops, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself, aren't I? Now, that's capturing the new name. Let's check if they've actually entered anything. So if new name does not equal empty, then replace the current room's name with the new name. Okay, that's all I want to do, and I want to do that for each statistic. Get new room information. And let's copy these guys, and we're going to paste him, and we're going to change it all to new description, and description here, description. Okay, and descriptions there as well. Let's right line that they're done. Right line, done. Read line to pause, and that's it. That's our entire edit room details function complete. And once you've copied that down, I want you to scroll up because we're going to start working on the edit blocked walls sub. So this bad boy is going to be a little bit different. I like the way I did this one, but maybe other people wouldn't, but I do. Basically, we're going to let them control the blocked walls with up, down, left, and right. When they press up, it'll toggle whether or not the up room is blocked, and down and left and right. Same sort of things on all sides. So let's quickly, because this is going to be a continual loop, we're going to create our blocked running as a boolean equals true. We'll put in our while blocked running, and then we'll do the code in here. So let's quickly set up the display. So draw the menu, clear the screen, do a right line, editing the blocked walls of room, and then put the whole level player to string. Same thing again. And then what I'm going to do for this part is we're going to go use the arrow keys to toggle which directions are blocked. And then we'll put a next message and put a very similar thing. Press escape to exit. Alright, let's put a blank spot in there just for niceness. And then get what they've selected. So equals as a console key. Whoops, I forgot something very important. They don't actually know which directions are blocked and which ones aren't. So let's print that to the screen. Let's in this one here, everyone. Let's go level, current level, print blocked walls. That'll print off whether or not each room is blocked because we set that up in the second video. Or the third, I can't remember to be honest. Now let's get what they want to do. So just like their normal menus, we're going to get a console key from the read key, dot key, and then we're going to check whether or not they pressed up, down, left, or right. So to do that, you go if selection equals up arrow, then what we're going to do is toggle the north selection. So check and toggle. Now they can press any button they bloody want to at this point here, but we're only going to accept the up, down, left, and right and escape key. So to do this, we go level, or current room, sorry. The blocked walls, north, that's not working. I need to type the full direction, dot north, equals. Now, how do we know what value it's going to be? We could do a quick if statement. We could go, if the current block north equals true, then it equals false, else it equals true. That's a pretty long if statement. Or what we can do is make this current value equal what it isn't. So what I mean by that is if it's true, not true has to be false, and not false has to be true. So what we do there is you say the current block direction equals not the current block direction. And that's going to toggle between true and false. Copy these two lines here, everyone. Put an else in front of this guy. And let's start editing this guy. Let's go to the down arrow. Let's change it to south. And move along, east and west. So, left arrow, right arrow, east, west. And final one, if it equals escape, then blocked running equals false. Alright, there you go. There's 2 subs down and out. However, now we need to do the items and the enemies ones. And I apologize now because these are the most annoying ones, to be completely honest. So, I want to pause the video. I want to give you a chance to do that. I'm going to get my head around this to make sure I can quickly do it for you. And we're going to attack the enemies and the items. Okay, sorry about that, everyone. I've finally got my head around this stuff. Let's go and start creating ourselves a nice sub to edit the room items. Okay, we're going to start here. I'm going to leave it up to you to do the enemies one. But we need to get our little menu going here. So item editing as boolean equals true, while item editing, draw a menu. So draw the menu, console clear. And I can be really annoying, but I'm not going to. Okay, so what I want you to think about here is we first of all need to display to the user what items are currently in the room that they're on. Once they know what items are on the room, where do we get that information from? Because each room doesn't have the items in it. It's only got item references. So we actually need to find out what item references it's got, then call upon the items themselves and draw them to the screen. Right, that's the tricky part. We then have the ability to add and remove items, and then we're done. So let's get this going. Let's console right line and show them current items in the room. So current items in the room. Colon. Now, let's go for I equals 0 to level current room items count minus what? Alright, remember that the items in each room, and it says it there on the little tooltip, are item references. So they don't include the information like the item names or things like that. So what we need to do is we need to find out what that item name is. And we also should display how many of them are there. So let's do a right line, a couple of tabs in there, and what I'm going to do is just have the amount of items there are. So to get the amount of items there are, we have to access the current room items. So what I mean by that is you go current room items I.count, and that's going to show how many they have, and then we're going to put a little dash so it looks nice and neat, very pretty. I might put a colon instead. I think I've been using that in all the other ones. Then we need the item name. So we get that from the level. And we made a function called getItem, which accepts an item reference. And this is a confusing part. So we're using getItem, and we're going to pass it level current room items I. So level current room items bracket I dot name. Whoop, close bracket, sorry. Dot name. Alright, so that should display the amount. Oh, you know what? I'm going to change that again. I hate it. I'm going to put it across. So let's say 10 times, and then let's say items, whatever item it might be. Then let's give them the menu. So quickly select from the following options. The first one, tab, A for add item to the room. Then remove item from the room, and then escape is going to bring us to the next line apparently. Exit menu. Okay, and then we dim selection. Oops, sorry. Whoa, getting ahead of myself. Selection. Dim selection. As a console key equals console read key dot key, and then our good old what did they select if statement. So if selection equals A, then they want to add a room item. And then one thing I want you to do here, everybody, is put save level straight under this. So anytime they make a change to the level, we should be changing it. saving it. Blah. Remove room item. Save level. Okay, and then if they selected escape, then what did I call it? Item editing equals false, and we're going to jump out of the menu. Okay, pause the video if you need to copy this stuff down, because we only need to code an add room item and the remove room item to pretty much bring this to a finish. So, scroll up, sub add room item, and this is actually pretty easy, because all we're going to do is we're going to list what items exist in the level, and then we're going to ask them, how many do you want? That's all we really need to ask them. So first of all, let's clear the screen. So console.clear, and let's go current items in the level are, and we're going to have to give them a way to select the items. So just like we did earlier when we were removing items and editing items, we're going to have the index first and then the name of the item afterwards. So let's do a for loop around the level items. So loop through the level items count, not the room. Okay, this is why it's confusing, because the items come from the level, but the rooms contain them. So let's right line the first item. Let's put a few tabs. And then after that, we'll put the index, which is I, and a colon, because I have been using that, and level items. Whoa, not count. What am I doing? I.name. So it's going to display all the items with the index on the front and then the name afterwards. And then we go enter the number of the item you wish to add. And then we go index as an integer equals readline console. Readline to be specific. And then we need to make sure, we need to do a quick little if statement, check if they're not being idiots, and make sure that the index is within a range, a good range that is. And the good range is 0 and items count -1. So if index is greater than or equal to 0 and index is less than or equal to level items count -1, then we can do stuff. So check the index is good. Alright, now if the index is good, we're simply going to ask them, is this, how many do you want? Because they've already selected the item. How many are there? So like how many items are in the room? I guess that sort of makes sense. So let's do it as an integer equals a console readline, console.readline, and then add to the level, also room. And the way you do that is you go level, current room, items, add. Okay. What we need to do is we need to add an item reference. Now we currently have an item, we have an index and a count. We don't have anything else. So we need to make a new item reference, and we're going to give it the index and we're going to give it the count. Just like that. Pass it the new item reference, tell them they're done. Just like so. And we're good. Now if they don't have a good index, we really should tell them that they don't have a good index. So let's tell them right line. Item number is invalid. Full stop. I'll put a read line down the bottom of the sub, console.readline, and that is done. I'll zoom out a little bit, and you can copy the whole thing down. And then let's move on to remove room items. So I'm going to scroll up, sub, remove room item, console.clear, because we're only doing it once. And then let's tell them what's currently in the room. So I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to copy this bad boy. All right, so from current room items and our for loop. Copy, come on up with me, paste him here. Because we want all the items in the room, so we're going to list them all there. We're going to tell them what is the number that you want to select. Console right, enter the number of the item you wish to add. Then dim the index as an integer equals console readline. Now I've got to, before I get too excited and do our if statement to make sure the index and all that kind of stuff is okay, I've got to change this. Currently this is the count of the items. I want the index. So I need to change all of this into I. That's it. So replace all that with I, and that's going to print the index of the item. Sorry about that. I just realized I was getting ahead of myself. Okay, check the index is good. So if not out of memory, if index is greater than or equal to 0 and index is less than or equal to level current room items count -1. Remember, it comes from this for loop. If it's good, remove the bugger. Level current room items dot remove at, and then put the index in there. Tell them they're done. Like so. Put an else there, and we're going to tell them they're idiots. So, if they are, that is, item number is invalid. No, just a full stop. It's nice. And then a read line down here, console. Read line. Our job is done. Okay, we've done the remove items, we've done the add items and all that kind of stuff. Now, it's always a good idea to test your code. I'm going to break that rule for once. I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to add my enemy room editing, and you're going to do the exact same thing without my help, and we're going to try it out and see if she all works at the end. Again, source code will be at the bottom of the video, so I'll see you in a second, everyone. Alright, so I'm effectively done. I hope you went okay, everybody. But basically, all I did was copy and paste the edit room items and the add room item and the remove room item subs and just change everywhere it said items into enemies. Now make sure that even in your for loops and inside your for loops, you change all those to items as well, because that's extremely important. And down here, you call on the right subs when they want to add an enemy and remove an enemy. Okay, there was one little typo I realized that I had in the remove function. I said enter the number of the item you wish to add, and I think I've still got it down here. Yep, here it is. It's actually to remove, but anyway, that was one little typo. The other thing is, in the add enemy, we had to add one more property, and that was the current health, or the potential current health of the enemies, because in our humanoid reference, we've got three things we need to provide: an index, count, and a max HP. We don't have to give it a max HP. It's a good idea. So if you copy this stuff here, that's going to get you the max HP to be able to change when you add your enemies to the rooms. That's the video for today, everybody. Part 6, we're going to attack the game. It's going to be much, much shorter and much easier than all this stuff combined, really. I hope you've learned something, everybody, and I'll see you in the next clip. Bye for now. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, you know the jazz. See ya.